Hello and welcome to We the People. Here at We the People, we are creating a critical mass of social justice watchers, but also we would like to have conversations about the things that are happening in this country, social, economic, political, and things that affect the ordinary person. And this is the Gentech, where we shall have multi-generational dialogues on and getting perspectives on the things that are affecting us. Now, today we'll be discussing multiple things that are happening, recent trends in the country, and my guest is Makana Kennedy. Good to have you, Makana.
Good to have you. Thank you very much, Edmund, for hosting me. It's really a pleasure.
Good. Now, let's get into the conversation. Makana, you have been at the forefront of activism in the country in the past days, from the march to parliament, but there has been a series of things that are happening in the country. The first question that I would like to put to you, having been at the forefront, you've protested, you've been arrested, and yet still there is a lot of things that have happened after then. The first question is, do you think that that mode of activism actually pays off?
Edmund, your question is very interesting, and very many people have asked me that question. But you see, as young people in our generation, we've exhausted all other methods. First, before hitting the streets protesting, we've been keyboard warriors for years down the road, but along the way we're like, what is the way forward? And the Constitution also speaks about protesting and defending the Constitution. So we decided, we were like, why not take it to the streets? Why not change the methods? Perhaps if you hit the streets, if you bring on that pressure down to the grassroots, it can cause a change, impact more than social media, you see. And social media does work, the impact is felt, but once you're here on ground, the pressure increases. So as young people, we're like, let us change the methods, let us go on the streets. And that's why recently you've been seeing very many protests, right from the march to parliament. Then we've had several protests against charging civilians in the military court. So we are still on the streets, and we are still keyboard warriors.
Okay, so when you talk about keyboard warriors, and then you also talk about the need to change methods, does that seem to suggest that you have been seeing these things and putting up a fight against them, but those methods didn't pay off? And then, does this method actually pay off? Have you seen things change from coming down to the street?
Yeah, things do change, even on social media. Things do change, and I like to borrow General Mugisha Moto's words. He said that the routes are very many, but they lead to one point. So a person who uses social media and I who's on the street, we are aiming for one goal. So we said that it depends what is on table right now. The situation has been dire. We needed to increase more pressure. We've created hashtags, we've created posters about the charging of civilians in the military court, and the Constitution has been defied over and over again. So hitting the streets is not that hashtags don't work, they do work, but we wanted to put more pressure on the state so that our voices can be heard. Our voices were not heard enough on social media. We've been blocked by several leaders in the country. So we felt that if you come here and you march to the High Court, to the Supreme Court, obviously the Chief Justice has no choice. He will have to see what are they. So that's what we've been doing.
You're talking about hashtags and posters. Now, from what I have seen, there is a social media mobilization to have people protest, right? But at the end of that day, you will have a hashtag trending that is saying, let's march for KB or march to parliament. But on ground, you'll have 10 people, 20, sometimes protests have had 5 people. How do we bridge the gap between the thousands of people that are tweeting and the 5 people that actually come to the ground? If you actually think that voices will be listened to here, how do we channel that energy from social media to the ground?
You see, Edmund, first and foremost, the mistake that most of our people do is compare our state to Kenya. We have totally different states. And you know, over and over time, for us, we're in a military regime. We are governed by guns. What is in Kenya, you know, the rule of law works there, at least I would say.
But people were killed in the Kenya protest as well.
That's different, you see. For them, they protested, and you see, they had enough days to protest. Here, you cannot protest. The whole capital city is under like, is covered with soldiers and everywhere. And you see, even during their protests, it was the police money. You know, the protests. Here we have the army. So you speak about the killings. Killings are always there in protests. That is expected. As you fight, as you seek for justice, the state also fights back. But the numbers, you know, our people have gone up in fear. Our state has, even considering the 2020-21 mass killings, even I am scared. I can't tell you that I'm not scared hitting the streets. I am. I do get scared.
You still do hit the streets.
Exactly, because it's the pain. It's the pain that that triggers, and you know, hitting the streets has also a price.
But you see, that is the question I am trying to put across. You are scared, you know what you're going to face, yet you still come, right? And then your argument is that we are being governed by the military, and that is why people don't come to the street. How come you come to the street? Like, why is there a gap? Why is there that gap that these people do not want to come to the street?
I believe, you see, we have levels of fear. we have levels of fear. Even when I fear the guns, I still go. But there are people who, near seeing a gun like this,
they'll faint.
They'll take off. So, and you know, we all, you know, we are all oppressed by the regime in different ways. So some people don't feel this impact. Someone has a well-paying job, maybe gets like a 1.5, drives a cavities, you know, almost their life is perfect. You know,
with the VTs.
but they're also oppressed in their different way. So now comes to us. You know, you feel the pain of the regime in every way. You know, so we have levels of fear. Even when I fear, I still go on the streets. But there are several young people who can't, and I do feel their pain. I don't at some point, I don't hold them accountable for not appearing. But they are moving hashtags, what they are doing online. You know, recently we've had pictures of Dr. Chiza Besigye everywhere. That shows us the power of the people united. So along the way, we shall realize that we have different methods.
Do you think, though, that if that energy that is online was channeled to the street, would have different result?
True, I believe it. I believe we would have different, would have more impact and more results. But you see, a revolution doesn't take place in one day. It takes time. So, and I always tell people, we are getting there. We are getting there.
You have hope that we shall feel us.
And actually, my greatest fear and my concern is not the energy of social media coming on the ground. But if you look, if you scroll through X, what you see is anger. People are angry. And now what scares me more is that if we have that anger come down here on the streets, what we shall have blood throughout the streets. People are angry, Edmund. And I believe somehow we are getting there. that anger will one day come on the streets.
And then we'll have blood.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I asked earlier if you think that the protests have paid off and you know, stuff like that. There was a hashtag of judiciary on trial, and you know, protests and people taking petitions to the judiciary, and what we have is an expeditious giving of the ruling in Kabazgurukwa. A few days from the ruling being given, you have the NRM caucus sitting to amend the law to have you know, civilians again tried in the court martial. Wouldn't you look at the efforts, the hashtags, the marching on the street as a waste of time?
It is not. It is not. And just I've always told people that we don't have a parliament. We have an organ of the NRM party. So what these NRM MPs did and what they are going to do, because the act will be on the floor of parliament. They betrayed the people over and over again. The parliament has betrayed the will of the people. So it's not a wastage of time. We are going, and I assure you, Edmund, we are going to expose the MPs that have betrayed the will of the people. We shall hold them accountable. And you know, people need to know in the next election, as we are going into the 2026 election, people need to know that these people betrayed you. People need to know that these people don't carry their will.
I am just thinking from term limits, was that 2005, to age limit, was that 2017, to yet now we're going to have the, I mean, of course, the amending of the bill to try civilians again in the court martial. Do you think that people have learned? Because I am thinking by 2017 people should have said, these people betrayed our will, they're not going back to parliament. But you have the same people over and over again, and now they're going to do the same thing when elections are coming.
What this country lacks is civic education. And you know, the state has kept our people in the dark. They don't want people to get this information, and this is why we the people have been moving around the whole country trying to give these people civic education, which is also hard because of lack of finances and a few things here and there. But Edmund, our people, it's not that they don't learn, but I believe it's the difference and the gap in generations. As in, you've gone to school, you've read books, you know, you're very keen, you follow what happens in parliament. But then my grandmother down in Ukunjiri, she doesn't, well, she's not acquainted with the smartphone, she doesn't know X, so she doesn't know what's happening. At the end of the day, these MPs will go back to the village and tell them, I'm the right person. Tell them, build a few, maybe 2-3 boreholes, and the people are captured. That's how. That's what has been happening over and over again. So what our people need is civic education.
Yeah, is that to suggest then that it is the people that are ignorant of what it is that happens that keep voting these people back in parliament?
Well, I would say ignorance is there. Ignorance is part of it. Ignorance is part of it. And you know, these MPs are also well read like us. So they know how to manipulate these people. Recently in Igara, there is an MP, the past election, he has a company that makes these 1,000 shilling drinks. And you know, he took a full lorry, gave out to people. Imagine voting someone because he gave you a drink of 1,000 Uganda shillings. But that vote is going to create more damage on your life. So our people need civic education. We need to extend this knowledge that we have to these people. These people don't know. And you know, parliament has messed up right from the speaker to everyone in that building. We have been betrayed. And you know, even when we come out and say, hey, this and this and this and this, we need more collective support. And unless we come together, Uganda is, you know, we're already in the gutter, so I don't know where else we shall be.
The basement of the gutter. But well, you talked about you talked about different methods. I mean, from the hashtag to the street to, you know, recently we have seen now a new trend emerging. When Dr. Besigye was being tried in the military court, he resorted to a hunger strike. No, actually, after the Supreme Court ruling, he resorted to a hunger strike until he would be brought to a civilian court. And now that they've brought him to a civilian court, he has called off the hunger strike, and now other political prisoners have picked it up. Do you think that is effective given the kind of government that we have, or are we going to start losing people in prison over the hunger strike? Do you think it's something that would pay off?
It will pay off, and I think right now the Commission of Prisons, Johnson Byabashajja, is in a difficult place.
Yeah.
Because you see, prisons are keepers. They are not soldiers, they are not the police. The court gives them gives them a person to keep this person until he comes back to court. And you know, it's not eating in prison is a crime.
Yeah.
So when these people are fasting, it's upon the prisons now. They also have to put in the pressure.
Yeah.
These people have nowhere to go. They've been in prison for years. You're in prison for years, and
what do you mean not eating is a crime? According to the rules of the prison?
Yeah, in prison, first and foremost, your survival is their number one top priority.
Yeah.
They have to make sure that you are alive, so that when the judge or the magistrate asks them, this person was taken in a health state, why is he like this? They have to give a response. So these people fasting on a hunger strike, they're calling out for help. They want the world to know. And you know, I learned recently that Machete, one of the political prisoners, has been on a hunger strike for 5 days. 5 days. And you know, the prison services called the mother panicking, telling them that they should tell this person to eat. But you see, this is a call for help. It's a call, they don't know what their future lies. They've been there for years, even after the Supreme Court ruling. They're still there, they don't know their future. So what these people are doing, it's a cry for help. Yeah.
So now, now that the NRM caucus has sat, they've made a resolution to, you know, amend the bill. What next? Because I mean, we are getting back to the place where we came from. We've been fighting to have, you know, civilians not tried in the court martial, and now we are going back to that. You talked about exposing the MPs that are betraying the will of the people. Do you think that in any way will pay off to stop this move from happening?
You see, you look at time and time over again. We've had the term limit, we've had the age limit, and all other things. And you know, even when we've tried, the things still pass. And I assure you, Edmund, we are going to put up the pressure that it takes. But as we've seen in this country, the will of the people is not respected, and I assure you, the UPDF Act will pass. The amendment will pass. And well, that doesn't stop us from saying, hey, you know, it's wrong. It's totally wrong. But as I said, we no longer have a touch of the parliament. It's an organ. The judiciary and the parliament are organs of the NRM political party.
Those not heavy statements.
No, they are not. It's reality. We need to come to reality. And we are on record. The judiciary has betrayed the will of the people, and the parliament has betrayed the will of the people.
Recently gave you a ruling.
But even that ruling is not enough. We've been here for over and over years. Dr. Chiza Besigye has been battling the Supreme Court since he was abducted for 3 months now. Yeah. 3 months down the road, where was the judiciary? You know, and we have, you know, the case backlog in the judiciary does scare a lot. How, you know, the people I met that that have been on remand do scare. Imagine being 1 year plus in remand. So these two arms of government have really betrayed the people. You even look for where to run to. You want justice, you feel like you should run to the courts. The courts, you know, you know,
you're making very grave allegations.
no, this is reality. These are things that we all know in this country. But you know, we, as I said, we all have levels of fear. People don't want to say these things. But some of us we are tired. Edmund, we are tired. Yes, we are young people, and we believe these people fought. But now that they are fought, what next?
You also fight.
We are also okay. We are also fighting. We are saying you fought, but it's time. Let the young people take up the mantle. You know, growing up, we had teachers who used to tell us that we are the leaders of tomorrow. And you know, even the political leaders would come at school and they'll be like, "You are the leaders of tomorrow," and now that tomorrow is today.
Right.
Because we are giving. We
are leaders, though.
No, we are not the leaders. That's why you see.
Yeah.
I told the people that I always tell young people that I meet in the spaces that if the young people, if these leaders have failed to give us the space, let us create our own spaces. Let us start from us. Let our generation create its own leaders. Let us support these leaders up there. And this is what I'm telling people, young people, that I personally am not running for office, but it doesn't stop you from running for office. As long as you don't forget the will of young people, you know, don't reach up there and become a sellout. Right now we have the NRM. We are biased about the NRM because, well, in reality, it's the reason why we are here in the first place. We have rigging of elections everywhere from one party.
Yet you have thousands of youth that are running on NRM tickets.
You see, first and foremost, young people don't have the resources. They're seeing the resources in the party, and you know, this is why even our people are in poverty. Those who have money in political spaces are keeping it up to themselves, and you know, money is supposed to be in circulation, and those who don't have, you don't have. So young people don't have a choice. And you know, some of them are not like us. They can't bear. So they are shifting, you know, goalposts.
Is that justification that when you have no solution, then you side with the entrenchers or the people you are telling us the reason we are here?
You see, if you listen to the justifications of young people, they're like, we've been in the struggle for so long, what are we getting?
Yeah.
And you know, the struggle does frustrate. And well, there's nothing that we can do. We just have to let them go. And some of them can assure you that I was speaking to one of the young people running with the NRM ticket come 2026, and he was telling me, you see, Kennedy, we all can't fight outside the system. You need people inside the system, and that's what I'm doing. And you know, and I laughed it off. And you know, there's nothing that you can do, so you just have to let them go. But along the way, we just have to remind them, hey, you've joined the group, you know this group, these people, but you're not part of them.
Yeah.
Those who went to the bush, you're not part of them. They have their clique. And you know, however much you've gone there now, you'll never be like them. So don't forget the will of young people. Don't forget the people that, in case a point you pass through, don't forget the people that put you there. So that is the message that we have to keep giving them.
Lastly, let's talk about because I mean, you talk about people running on the tickets and you know, 2026. 2026 is next year. That's when the voting is. The campaign starts this November, December. There is already abductions going on, massive abductions, right? You have a week where 10 or 20 people are being abducted. You have raids on the other day, National Unity Platform offices. What picture does that paint for the upcoming election? Shouldn't we be buying helmets and hiding?
Well, I shared this with someone recently, and I told them, as Mohoza's CDF come 2026, we are not even in the election season, but the things we are seeing, are not even a quarter of what will happen in 2026. Recently, yesterday, he made a tweet and it was like, the people we killed in 2020, 2021 were few. We shall kill more.
Oh, really?
So you see, when a commander of the army says that, you have to be scared. And I assure you, 2026 is here. It will be, I don't know what day, Friday, Saturday, whatever day it will be.
Yeah.
People will be killed. People are going to be killed. People will be abducted.
They promised to kill everyone in an OP uniform.
So, where we are going, and come 2026, General Museveni will be announced as president of this country.
Is that a prophecy?
It's not a prophecy, it's reality. Okay. It's reality. As long as we have elections, and this is why I'm against the protest vote that the opposition is pushing. Elections won't change anything in this country. Instead, we should use the election now to give out civic education to the people out there.
Yeah.
Let it be a wave of giving information out there. So what is going to happen in this season to young people in the National Unity Platform, in other opposition political parties? Only God can save us. Because the blood on the streets, the killings, as in we've seen, the police, it's like the police no longer has a job to do. Everything is done by the military, from construction, road construction, to protests, you know. So my heart sinks when I think about 2026, because I know the elections will be rigged. Someone will
already know that.
Not even someone, several people are going to rig the election, and people will be killed, people will be abducted. So it really hurts me.
Well, heavy talking about 2026, but well, let's wait and see what happens in 2026. I thank you, Kennedy, for sparing your time to speak to us. We really do appreciate your insights on the several issues that are happening in the country. Now, to our viewers, please do tap the subscribe button. Make sure to be part of this show. This show will be happening fortnightly, and we hope that you will be catching the show. We hope to bring you more. Thank you for watching. My name is Edmund Ayasigwa Akampata, and this is the Gentech at We the People Uganda. Thank you.
Sign out.